All righty. Hello, 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 hello. Y'all, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all because y'all know I don't know how to do anything else except to be honest with y'all. Um, but let me tell you, the devil has been truly fighting me today. I wish I could share, but I guess I'll sound like HR when I tell you guys that there's so much going on that I can't share, guys. I can't share. But that's exactly what's going on. Work is it has me working, and that's great. And then obviously I want to do more of getting connected with you guys. So if y'all here, holla at your girl in the chat. I've been struggling, so hence me being tardy. It was not CP time. It was truly me trying to navigate this whole thing. I've been live on this laptop. I don't think I've been live in this format with a guest. So I look literally confused with nothing out of myself. Probably my laptop too. But if you're in here, which I see some of y'all are rolling in, I thank you so much. I truly did go live at 7, and I don't know why I had it in private mode. So those of you who have access to me in private mode, was so happy to see you there. You probably saw me in rare form. So sorry, but so happy you guys are here. As you come in, do me a favor. Like I know I don't do this often, but if you don't know Cassie, then and who's going to tell us all about resumes, which I've already sent to quite a few of you guys in my emails. I've talked about it on LinkedIn. I've talked about it in YouTube. But Cassie's in on the West Coast in Washington State, and I'm here on the East Coast. So I'm just wondering where you guys are from. I'd love to know your city, your state, your country, and feel free to like let us hear from y'all. I love it. Thank you all so much for like hello, hello, hello for responding in the chat. So I'm gonna dive in because we're a little bit late. I do not like playing with folks' time. I apologize. I don't like playing with your time. So what I do want y'all to know is that if you're this your first time viewing HR, then this is Tamika. In the past, we used to do happy hour with HR, where I would have a drink, you guys would have a drink. We talk about our drinks. I didn't give you guys that warning, so I'm just gonna have my drink because it's been that kind of a day. In addition to that, typically we used to bring on a guest. So this time we're bringing on an amazing guest. Super excited about having our guest on. If you're on my email list and you're already familiar with her, Cassie is, in my opinion, the resume enthusiast, the resume expert, the resume goddess. She is amazing at telling us all about these resumes. And I think the biggest thing that gets me excited about Cassie, because if y'all are my mentees, you guys watch a lot of my videos, maybe you're on my email list. I'm not really as excited as I could be about resume writers because I don't feel like they're all the same. They're all not the same. But if you're looking to start your career in human resources, then I feel like you should start with Cassie. And I say that because in any career field, it's best to have a resume writer that works in that career field because they know that lingo, they know that target information. And Cassie's space as an HR, we work with everybody. So she has a really good spot of knowing like how the whole department works, how the whole company works, that type of thing. So anyhow, we on here. I'm not gonna be talking anymore. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all are rolling in. I love it. I love it. Ooh, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas. What? Y'all know we about to talk about Texas today. There's a whole bunch of y'all in Texas. First, before we get too far, and I'm gonna be quick. Are y'all okay from the storm? Everybody got their lights on and stuff? Because I know how it is with hurricanes. San Francisco, love it. Love it. Man, so happy to see y'all here. Let me tell y'all real quick about Cassie. Cassie is a HR professional with a decade of HR experience. She has majority of her most recent experience as an HR leader. She also is the owner, creator, CEO of My Professional Agenda, where she always does amazing jobs of transforming not only your executive and HR resumes or even anyone that's working in a corporate field, but she can also revamp your LinkedIn. So for those of you who have worked with me, went over to Cassie, I've gotten your emails, she's gotten your emails, we've gotten your DMs, and we more than likely replied to you. So I'm so happy to see the impact that she's made for you guys. But y'all, the rest of y'all who do not know, y'all have no idea. Y'all about to be introduced to the GOAT. Y'all about to meet the resume GOAT. So thank you. Y'all keep on telling us where y'all from. I'm going to let Cassie say what's up. Y'all cool with that? Cassie, tell us all about yourself. Welcome, welcome, welcome again.
First of all, Tamika, that was a great introduction. You made my heart warm, okay?
Good.
I know what you've been going through, so for you to have, that enthusiasm through all of that, I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Don't you
grateful.
make me cry. Don't you make me cry. Because
I'm
today has
so
been a
excited
day.
to be here. I'm so excited to be on your platform. I love your platform. I always tell people about you too. Like you have a test coming up for SHRM, I know exactly who you should go to. HR help, I know exactly who you can go to. So thank you so much for doing that. I
You're
appreciate it.
so welcome. I thank the Lord for giving us our own space and such a close niche. Because that's the luxury of being able to speak with either one of us, that we have each other as a resource to continue to help the people that have been in contact with us. So super
Yeah.
duper happy to say that, or to be that. If y'all on my email list, I'm going to talk to both of you guys, to both Cassie and you guys, because we're going to dive in. We're going to ask her some questions without a shadow of a doubt. But for those of you who are on like my email list, then you guys know that without a shadow of a doubt, I've been telling you guys about an amazing event that Cassie has coming up. So Cassie, I'm not even going to do your event no disservice. Can you please share with us about the amazing event that you have coming up?
Yeah. So first of all, this is one of the most closest projects to my heart right now. This is my first time doing an in-person event at this scale. So this
Oh
event
wow.
is taking place in Houston, Texas. It's going to be my very, very, very first in-person event. It's called Worthy of Your Call. Now, the pinnacle of my work is I want people to really understand what they were called to do. I don't want people to go and chase a position. I want people to chase their calling. And I know
Mm-hmm.
your career is a platform for that. So this event is going to have like the best of the best coaches flying out. It's going to have so many amazing activations, from headshot stations, from coaches giving you on the spot training, to an amazing panelist of people who know about different things in your career and help you enhance that to the next level. So it's going to be 4 hours of fun. There's going to be music going. There's going to be drinks going. And I just want to make sure everybody leaves there transformed, whether they're able to
Mm-hmm.
get their resume done on the spot, whether they're able to get just a little bit of information that can change the trajectory of the next level of their career. And more importantly, I want people to network. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
activate their network, because I know for sure meeting people is a faster way to get to your destiny. So it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's happening next week, Saturday. I'm here with the
Ooh.
designer. We're doing mad things right now to get everything together. I'm working from morning to night, okay, making sure that this is flawless. So yeah, it's happening at 12 p.m. on Saturday, and I'm excited. I am
Y'all.
excited.
You should be, because again, if you guys missed the introduction, Cassie doesn't live in Houston, Texas. Cassie lives in Washington State, Seattle, Washington. So
Yes.
she's literally creating this event, not just creating an event that's amazing, jam packed with opportunities for you guys, but she's also creating an event in a whole different state. This isn't like a 3 hour drive. Okay, I'm gonna ride to Charlotte from Charleston. Like, I don't know how she's doing this. I love being around these type of people. The event that she's talking about is a form of networking, right? Where you can meet people, kind of mix and mingle, get connected with these people. And I tell you one thing, this is the amazing thing about having these opportunities, because thank goodness for like LinkedIn and social media and things like that. Cassie and I are connected. I feel so happy to have her in my network. I've never met her, but we talk all the time. You guys can meet amazing people at this event who can help you elevate. Like, I can't tell you guys how many times we'll talk to each other and just like brainstorm if it's our career, our business, whatever we're doing. And so I want y'all to know that you can get this type of power from there. Did y'all see that these people are coming from Indeed and AWS is Amazon? If y'all don't know, we are not only going to tell y'all about this amazing event, but you stick around to the end, and Cassie's going to give away 2 free tickets. So I'm happy to see all y'all around here in Houston. I see a whole lot of Houston going on in this chat. I see a whole lot of Dallas going on in this chat. I
Yeah.
love it. If y'all want these free tickets, stick around, because Cassie's amazing. She's been doing this. I'll tell y'all one thing. I have clients that have gone to her. Like a couple of my mentees have came back to me on their meeting with me, and they're like, "Oh, so happy to meet Cassie." And I'm like, "Oh, you did?" Like, I had no idea that they went to Cassie, because I don't write resumes. Cassie does, right? And one girl said to me, she was like, well, between you and Cassie, I should be able to get something. So we're amazed when she like tags us on LinkedIn and tells us how each of us helped her, right? And then another one of my mentees, who's an HR director, we've been talking through a lot and like trying to figure out what's going to go on with her department and things like that. And she literally called me like in a panic. One of my very few mentees that had my phone number. She's like probably my mentee number three years ago, before I got systems and learned what I was doing. But she called me and she said, Tamika, and I said, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I said, why? She was like, so I went to Cassie because I know you don't write resumes. I said, cool, cool, cool. That sounds good. She said, I didn't know that she revamped my LinkedIn. You know, I don't like social media. I said, I know, I know. She said, but I let her do it. She kind of talked me into it. And I figured, why not? Because I'll never do it. And I said, good. I said, so what's the problem? She said, my resume is too good. I applied to jobs and I got interviews, and my LinkedIn's too good. People are DMing me. And she had like 4 interviews in 1 week for all HR director positions from Cassie. Now, Cassie's not only bringing you her knowledge, but she's bringing you a room full of experts who's going to help you. So y'all definitely stay to the end so that you guys can chime in and get your opportunity at these 2 free tickets. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And what we're going to do, oh, I see y'all killing it in the chat. They are excited, Cassie.
I'm looking
They
over
are
here.
excited.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited too. Like I go to sleep, wake up, and think about how many people is going to be transformed by this event. I can't stop thinking. Like even though we're here right now, I can't stop thinking about the changes that are going to happen. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
You should be, because I think so long like our careers have been underrated, and now like the events like you're doing is showing people like the impact that we can make in their lives, and I truly mean their lives, because I mean all of my mentors will be like, oh my God, you changed my life. I see your reviews all the time, like over every platform, and they're telling you the same thing, how you changed their life. So it's life changing. All right, y'all. We see. I told y'all we do this on the phone. We be talking about all kinds of stuff, but I had to talk about that event because I don't want y'all to miss out. I was truly thinking about, without a doubt, flying over there and like meeting her. But Cassie knows, with the day that I had, I was trying to tiptoe around when I can go. Don't be surprised if I book a last minute flight and end up in Houston, Texas.
I think if I see you walk through the door, I'm gonna cry. I think real tears, and I'm not a crier. Like if you ask my homegirls, they're like, Cassie, do you cry? But I think if I see you walk through the doors, my throat.
I love it. It's amazing. Like we've been talking for the longest. I'm still amazed that we haven't like met. Like we've been, listen, y'all don't understand. But I'm gonna ask you some questions about this resume situation, because so many times, like I don't do resumes, but I do resume revamps. I help my clients with their resumes, things like that, right? I do resume reviews, and then I help my clients with their resumes. And I love it because there's some things that you and I are in alignment with, and there's some things we do a little bit different. There's some things that I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about that. And I feel like we learn from each other. And one thing that I like to do is talk about the biology of a resume, right? So y'all know when we were in school in biology class, they give us the human body and point things everywhere. And Cassie is amazing about breaking down the biology of a resume. What does a good resume look like? And one of the things that you constantly talk about through all your platforms is progressive growth. And so I want to know, like, can you tell us a little bit about what progressive growth looks like on our resume?
Yeah, so there's so many things that you can do with the resume to show that progressive growth. So when I say a biology of a resume, it's for me, it's a living organism. Like it's a living document, and every single part is meant to do something to help you
Mm-hmm.
get interviews, right? So one of the things that I love about the biology of a resume is showing that progressive growth. Even as humans, the way I looked 5 years ago is not how I look now. You know, we age like wine, you know what I'm saying? So your resume has to show that same exact progressive development. So there's a few ways that I like to do it. If I name like 2 ways to show that progressive development, is one, just showing relevant experience that doesn't repeat itself. So if you did
Yeah.
something like 20 years ago, there's no need for me to see that exact same bullet point in your current position. It doesn't show that you have increased in the task you have given, or have even been able to get like trust from somebody to move up to the next level with new duties. So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not being redundant with your bullet points. What you did 20 years ago, we don't need to see it now. And another thing is, I like to show promotion. Like if you were promoted in a position, you should show that on your resume. So there's times I get clients, they show all the different positions they've had, but I'm like, were you promoted? And it's like, oh yeah, I was promoted 5 times. And I'm like, okay, that's great. We can highlight that. Because when you are interviewing for a job and you want a little bit more money, If they see you as someone who's promotable, they might give you that extra amount of money because they
Mm-hmm.
might put that, maybe in a year or two, this person is going to be promoted and they have that advancement growth to go to the next level. So I like to put 4 times promoted on the resume. I like to put promoted within, some people have been promoted within a year, which is amazing. Either with something
Mm-hmm.
discussed during the hiring process, like this is what we like to do for you within the next year, or maybe you just had amazing performance, you're a high performer, and they decided to promote you in a year and they saw that potential in you. So I like to put that like 4 times promoted, 2 times promoted, or promoted within a year time frame. So that shows that progressive growth because that growth gets you a little bit more money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that we forget so often. You highlight all the things that I feel like I highlight repetitively. So I'm so happy we're doing this because people do not put when they've gotten promoted. They just show they've been with this company all this time, especially when they feel like, they've been doing the same jobs. It's something different. People are not promoting you just to do the exact same damn thing. So it's something different that you're doing. If you've been doing as an HR assistant or HR coordinator, I-9s and onboarding, and you're still doing this as an HR generalist, you did that as an assistant. Those are entry level tasks. Leave them there. By the time you get to generalist, let's talk about how you're managing these benefits, doing open enrollment, things like that. Cool. So that's all Cassie is saying. Is like show that you guys have progressed as y'all work through. And I love that because sometimes I really feel like I'm talking about this by myself. And what it would do is something else I want to ask you about, Cassie. Help the folks understand. And let me make sure I got clarity because it might be something I don't know. But help us understand, what do you mean when you say eliminating confusion and inviting opportunities through your resume? This is all in the biology of a resume. We're going to eliminate confusion and invite opportunities. How do we do that with just a resume?
So before we even get into that, you have to have like clarity around what you want to do in this life. Like you have to understand what your strengths are and the skills you really enjoy using, right? Because sometimes I see people put things on their resume that they hate doing, or they really know they want to be a manager in their next position, but their resume doesn't demonstrate that. Or they want a little bit more money, but their resume doesn't look expensive. So it's more so like aligning what you really want to do in this world and making sure it shows up on your resume so there's no confusion. When you actually get that interview, you and the recruiter are speaking the same language because you have presented yourself and the best parts of your career story on your resume. So, like, how do you eliminate that confusion? First of all, one thing recruiters don't like to do, they don't like to spend too much. I mean, I've sourced, I know you sourced, Tamika, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
we don't want to have to guess what you did. I don't want to have to guess how many people you led. I don't want to have to guess the impact you made. And I've worked with organizations where they want you to be better than 50% of the employee population. Now, if they're
Mm-hmm.
confused about that, they're going to move on to the next candidate. So, the best thing you can do to eliminate confusion is one, get with yourself and understand what you really want to do in the next job and write those things out. Whether you have to like spend the weekend, turn down the lights, have a little intimate time with yourself and discover what those strengths are, then do so. And then start to develop a resume that speaks about that the most. Then, when you get to your resume, start to think about the impact you have made as it relates to where you're trying to go. So, if you try to be a manager, talk about the things you've managed, talk about the people you directed. Even if you haven't had a manager position, you
Yeah.
still some type of coaching or mentoring. Right now, I have a client and she's finally in the job that she's always wanted, but it's an individual contributor position, meaning that she
Uh,
doesn't,
yeah.
but she's noticing that she's mentoring every single person that has been there either for a few months or doesn't have that managerial position. She's literally coaching them and helping them career plan. So I'm like, that is definitely something you need to add to your resume for sure. Mentor,
Mm-hmm.
coach, train. So again, if you're trying to go for that manager position, making sure that you speak to those next level skills that allows you to do that and help them believe you can manage people. So just getting everything aligned with what you want to do and then making sure your resume represents that really well so that the recruiter is not confused on if they should move you to the hiring manager or not.
And y'all, when y'all confuse them, because like Cassie said, we both have sourced, meaning we both have sifted through resumes to find the right candidates that could be interviewed, or we may have looked on using AI tools to find you guys in that way if you didn't apply, right? When we get those resumes, when we get confused, it reminds me of back in the day before we had ATSs, and what we used to do was I used to make 3 stacks. Like when I get these resumes in, so I'd have a stack of a yes, a stack of a maybe, and a stack of a no. When I get confused and I feel like you might be there, it's almost like I mentally put you in that maybe. And when I have 500 candidates specifically for like an HR position, and I go through a whole slew of those, like I probably can go through 200, not even get to 300 and find 30 candidates I want to interview. I don't forget about that maybe stack. Y'all got to make sure you stay in the yes stack. Just saying. And you don't want folks to be confused. Cassie is so right about that. If you guys have this way y'all got to be like, this way you got to have that mindset of like, I'm the shit and I know I'm the shit. Like when you go out in the store, you at the gas station, this guy, he pumping gas, but you're going to run in because you're going to get a drink really quick. And you can see his head following you straight on. Immediately, I know y'all be like, I'm the shit. Let me see if he's going to say something. That's the same way y'all got to be about these damn resumes. Like, it does not change. Do not have imposter syndrome on your skills. Y'all know what y'all are doing. And I like that Cassie said you have to show this impact. You have to show this, even if you didn't have these titles, because another thing that she hits on is that a lot of HR resumes tend to forget some things. And I totally agree with this. Employee population. Tell us about this per company, per total, and how they can, what the heck is employee population? Where do I find this information? Why do I need to put it there? Help us out.
Right. So employee population is the amount of people the organization has that you support. Right. So when I used to work at the amusement park in Coney Island, New York, I used to support an employee population of 1,200 people. And they weren't just people. There were managers, there were supervisors, there were employees. These were all the people that I serviced, and that was an employee population. Now, I always put that number on the resume, child.
Okay, because that's a powerful number.
I did too much work with them not to include them on my resume. And not only do I include them on the resume, I add them all up. So I add them all up from when I first started in human resources way back in the day up until now. I total them all up and I put the total on the resume.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because we've changed their lives. You know what I'm saying? We have worked with them a long time. So I never want to cancel that out of my, career experience. So these are the total amount of people I was able to mentor, touch, be a part of throughout my career. And that number really does help because some people do work in organizations where it's just 30 people, 70 people. You add that up, that's a certain number. But some people do work with 1,000 people here, 5,000 there. You add that up, that can come out to 10,000 people you have influenced and impacted over your career. So that is one thing. Sometimes I get HR resumes and I have to ask, like, okay, how many people were on the team? How many people were in the company? And I just don't see that there. And that's another thing that helps eliminate confusions for recruiters if you already have that number there. Because if they're looking for a HRBP to support 800 software developers, but your resume doesn't show what you have supported in your entire life, then they will move on to the next person who has that number. So, yeah,
I love that. I'm gonna steal that gem now because I didn't even think about totaling. What happened now? We're gonna tell them we impact 90,000.
Is that your number? Is your number 90,000? Oh, I'm about to
stop it. I just love that you think so that amazing about me. No, not at all. I mean, if I think about it, my number is definitely between 5 to 10,000. If I think about it. I mean, because the company I work for right now, we have thousands. And then yeah, I gotta think through that because I've been working in HR for 12 years. I literally need to go through and like add all these numbers up. Like that's wild. But I'm happy you talked about HRBP because we got a question in chat. You mind if I don't want to leave the people out here. We ain't just having a conversation with ourselves. We having a conversation with the people. So we got to talk to the people. Okay. All right. Because Miss Nina has a question. She said, I want to apply for HRBP role. but have not worked to the capacity of what's required for these positions, i.e. succession planning. My experience has been very entry level. Well, first of all, Ms. Nina, I'm gonna tell you, I need you to add more than succession planning because that's like not even a fraction of what we do as a HRBP. Go ahead, Cassie, tell her what you think. I mean, I'm fine with diving in, but the people come to see you. They see me all the time.
There's certain things that I do to make sure that my resume speaks to something that I aspire to be, which does, include like learning and development, your own self teaching of that. All these tech people that you see online, they all taught themselves how to do this. They spent maybe a year or two going to boot camps, going to certain trainings to make sure that this happens. So if you don't have like you said, it's more than succession planning. We're talking about training and development, leadership influence, leadership coaching, career planning, performance management, talent. There's so many things that go into this HRBP, but you want to see what you can do now in your current position to kind of get your foot in the door. And if you don't have that opportunity to do so, you can definitely find ways to do that on your own and still try to add that to your resume. So for example, okay, I'm gonna tell a little something because it happened to me.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So there was a situation where I had to coach a really tough manager. I mean, this leader just didn't know how to talk to his team. They didn't trust him like that. He didn't know he had no emotional intelligence. And I needed some experience to figure out how to manage this person. So I went to upworks.com. I looked for an executive HR professional that was either in the same industry or they were like the CHRO, and I booked a consultation with her. And this is what they need to do with you. This is what you're here for too. But if there's any skill that you're missing and you can't find anybody or can't find a training, you can go to upworks.com. And if you don't know what upworks.com, that's a website where you can hire a freelancer. So I use them to build my website. I use them if I need to find like a resume writer real quick, if I have too many orders to help me with that. So you can use them too for that. Like you put in the search box, human resources fractional work or human resources consultant, and let them know like, hey, I really don't know much about succession planning. Can you train me on what this is? And once you get that information, you can add it to your resume, trained by the best in class human resources professional on succession planning, talent management. So that comes, I mean, that's what you got to do. There was another person in marketing. She was in marketing though. And she did not know about SEO optimization. She had no clue what it was, but she needed it for the role. So she went on Upwork. She found a marketing director or marketing consultant, and she sat with them for like maybe 45 minutes, and they showed her exactly what to do when it comes to SEO optimization. And she used it in interviews, and it got her the job.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. I think I'm so grateful that I partner with a couple companies that have given like amazing resources. So I do partner with course careers that will take you through a course. And then I also partner with HRCP who gives you like fractional classes, low cost. I must admit, I've seen those things and where they really impacted my mentees. And I'm so happy to see that these resources are now becoming available because we didn't have Upworks, we didn't have HRCP, like we didn't have course careers. We had to like, just put on our boots and get running on the job when we started our career. So I'm so happy to see all these resources. I'll also tell Nina that not only can you take advantage of those, like if you go to my website, I believe I have a tab that's called like professional development and it has links in there. So you can definitely do that. I have quite a few blogs about how to get professional development because it's the professional development that will give you the confidence to even apply for HRBP role if you haven't had it. The next thing is that don't be alarmed. Like I tell people to kind of help you with this imposter syndrome, like kind of go out there on LinkedIn. You can do a search for HRBP. You'll be amazed at how many people had not had this long, glorious career before they became an HRBP. So help yourself with that imposter syndrome of knowing like you don't have to be this perfect candidate that knows everything. When I first became an HRBP, I've been all the way up to HR director. I still didn't know everything. I never worked in a global company. I never worked in a tech field. I had never worked with more than 400 employees at the time. So going into thousands was new for me. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for my daughter having to do at school, I mean, at home work during COVID, I didn't even know how to use like Google, like to use Google Docs, to use Google Sheets. I literally learned helping my daughter with schoolwork, and you know, thank God she's graduated now. But I literally learned doing her schoolwork at some time. But it really helped me learn Google Sheets. And like she was looking at me like I was crazy. I think your kids think you're a genius. And I was like, so how do we submit it? She's like, she can see it. How can she see it? But it's those things that like I barely knew walking into the field, that we take for granted that we're not the only ones that don't know. Another thing is YouTube University. Like I ain't even just saying that because I'm on here. Like YouTube will teach you some stuff. I got some of my girlfriends who have literally elevated their career because I'd be like, "Well, did you check YouTube?" And they're like, "Mika, this the gold. I don't get a whole second monitor so I can watch this while I do this." Like they have elevated their careers. So do not like ignore that stuff. I'm so happy y'all taking some notes. Yeah, update that resume. Yes, add that population on there. And then, Sonia, have my transferable skills, but wording them properly for the type of role I want to get into, I don't do well with. But Sonia, you know, I think that's the thing. I think we all get so excited with that word transferable skills. If you just think through one mechanism, then this is going to show your impact and it'll automatically draw in your skills. So me and Cassie are a little bit different on this. I call it the PAR method, where I tell people like write bullet points that tells the problem that you were facing, the action that you did to correct that problem, and what were the results. So traditionally, we're only going to hire because we don't have enough people on the team. So you can say needed exponential growth for a brand new department launch. As a result, maybe you added on new job boards. Maybe you decided that you're going to add on a part-time sourcer. Like talk through what you did. And as a result, we were able to hire X number of people in a certain amount of time. Now you're showing that time to fill ratio as well. And Cassie, on the other hand, she has a way of discussing through this. And both of these will not only just show your impact, but it also shows your transferable skills. And it shows like you're a leader, is that Cassie leads by the who method. Cassie, tell us about the who method, because this can definitely help Sonia with showing these transferable skills.
Yeah, so I like to use the who method, which describes what you did, that's what the W is for, how you did it, and the outcome. So I like to use this. There's so many different methods out there, but the goal is to show impact, like you said, and the outcome of things. So I like to use that. So you start off with what you did, and in there it might include that transferable skill. So for example, I have an example here. So it starts off saying, this is the what you did part. So you supported 7 business leaders through organizational transitions. Now that first part, if you are transitioning to HR, you can put whatever you need to put in there that's industry specific and HR specific. So what you did, supported 7 business leaders through organizational transitions, right? And then how you did it. Now, once we get past what you did, you put the word by, because I think some people get confused on how to structure a bullet point. They don't know how to transition from one phrase to the next phrase.
Yes, yes.
You put the word by, and then you go on to how you did it. So what you did, supported 7 business leaders through organizational transitions by securing executive endorsements for HR programs, and then the outcome, which increased retention by 15%. So the goal is just to make sure you enhance what you did, how you did it. Now the how you did it too also can show off skills. So if you're not in HR and you know there's certain HR skills that you use, then you throw it in there on how you did it. Whether you leverage, you know, an executive presence within HR, whether you use skills like, what is the skills I'm thinking about? Just think
I
about.
think the most common ones are that people will talk about how they did like they either reviewed resumes, sat on interviews, or like helped decide the candidate that was going to be hired. I think even when you don't work in, first of all, with my mentees and my resume reviews, that's usually like the top thing if they've never worked in HR or they worked in other capacities and they're trying to elevate. And I don't think people show the impact to that. They just say, "Oh, I interviewed, I screened, and I hired, and I looked at resumes." Child, tell us like more of an impact of what you did with that. Like, was this a 1-step interview process? Was it 2? Was it 3? Because that shows a difference. That shows that you can continue to communicate. That shows that you can continue to like cipher down your best candidates. That shows us that you know how to like review quality of your candidates and what you're really matching for. I think people also forget like even just the that I post a job. Like we posted jobs. Where'd you post them? How often did you post them? How many resumes were you able to get? Did you find yourself taking it from that board and putting it on another one? Like we need to think about that. But I know I see a lot of questions on here, and I love that Sonia and Miss Nina going crazy. But my heart is a little broken. I need y'all help. I see that we are like trending up to like 40 whatever people, right? We're kind of going there, come back down, going there, come back down. I get it. Everybody ain't got time to be on here, folks. Head it up to the real happy hour. But I'm a little discouraged because we only have 8 likes. And y'all telling me you're liking us, but I don't know how I can tell that you really like it because you already hit the like button. I mean, I think that's so easy. So do me a favor. That really helps me with the algorithm. That really helps me moving forward to be able to continue to attract and get people with the amazing skill sets like Cassie to come on and like educate us. So, Cassie, you want to take a stab at the next question, or you want me to read it? Oh no, child, they got questions for you. Okay, so. Like, yeah, we got hands up to me. Okay, so hold on. Let's get Miss Mina. I'm coming back, Alex. So got it. I have mentored, coached, and consulted for my leaders, for my leadership practice degree. I will add those experiences to my resume. You're so welcome. Alrighty, so we got your child. Ain't nothing but the Lord gonna help us get through because it help us get through. The Lord got us. All right, so Alex has a question specifically for Cassie. What's the name of the website you stated you can go to hire someone to train you? Oh, Upworks. You want to put that into the chat form so he can know? Is
Yes,
it up? It is Upworks, right?
yeah, Upworks.
Because I use Fiverr more than anything. Okay.
Yep,
So that's it. Without that?
no, I said I added that to the chat as he asked, or she asked.
Okay. Oh, good, good, good. Alrighty. And then Sonia, okay, I do so many things that I'll need to focus and literally sit down and focus on my task. I'm like a robot. But let me tell you something, Sonia. I meant to say this earlier when Cassie was explaining, but Cassie go from gym to gym that I lost track. So I also want to tell you guys that the bad thing that we don't do and that we need to do, I need y'all to do this. Like for real, I need y'all to do this. When you get a compliment from somebody that says, "Oh my God, good job, Cassie, like you killed it. Oh, Cassie, man, you really made that easy for us." Or you get into a room and somebody's like, "Oh, I saw the such and such and such and such. Who did that?" And they're like, "Oh, Cassie did it." Then the shit y'all need to write down on the list. Because when people tell you about these amazing things, they've noticed something. You thought it was easy. You just knocked it out. Like this your job. You just come to work doing what you got to do. Like you said, you get to be a robot. There are a lot of people who you'll notice that the same people keep coming to you and you're like, well, what made them come to me? Oh, so and so told me to come. Oh, so and so told me. I have been that's a great trait that you should definitely keep record up and put on your resume is that you're the single point of contact or the expert point of contact for whatever. And so I think that that's the biggest thing is that so many times, like you said, we get into robot focus, but when we get in robot focus, we truly just working for that company. Don't forget to work for yourself. Like take a regular ass notebook. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to, I mean, I used to write it on sticky sheets until I put it all in one place. And then now I put it in Google Docs where sometimes I'm like, I even feel good to myself, like, damn girl, you killed that. If nobody even said anything, sometimes I'm shocked. Like, oh, you pulled that off. Like I created pivot tables in a Excel sheet one time and it made my meeting go so amazing. I learned it from YouTube, but everybody was able to follow on. It created less questions in this meeting. Y'all got to write these things down. Even if you don't know how to verbalize them, just write down what you did. And then what you want to do is think about how to verbalize them. Reach out to me or Cassie, look at our posts, follow us on LinkedIn, things like that, because that's the stuff you want to talk about in performance reviews. That's the stuff that you want to talk about when they talk about promotions. That's the things you want to talk about when you're seeing job opportunities or applying. Oh, how do you get to the percentage? That always Cassie, I'm gonna let you answer that because I think my answer is so generic. I'm interested to know how you get to percentages and resumes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's different ways of doing it, and percentages really do matter. It pops off the page. When a recruiter gets it pops off the page. And a lot of companies go by metrics now. They're really KPI driven. So if you do the work for them in advance, that really, again, eliminates the confusion and you don't get in the no pile. But there's various ways you can do percentages. One, hopefully you're already keeping track of some of these numbers on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Are doing
Mm-hmm.
surveys with your company, seeing the employee satisfaction and what your contribution was to that. As soon as those surveys come out, take note. As soon as things happen, ask your supervisor or manager, okay, how did this impact the company? Because I see a lot of times people want to start keeping track or they want to make their resume more powerful. Now they got to be sneaky and go to their manager like, hey, by the way, how much did we save on this? And there's no way to really do it without making it look like you're about to look for another job. So
Yeah.
as it happen, ask those questions. It makes you look smarter too. If you ask about the percentages and dollar signs and numbers. So as these events happen, ask. Or you can do it on your own. You don't have to put the exact number. You can put the average and just be sure you're able to explain that during the interview. So say, for example, there was some paperwork that took the team 10 hours to do. It took them mad long to do it, 10 hours. But then you put a workflow in place, whether it was an Excel sheet, like you said, the pivot table that made things easier, probably made the meeting go by maybe 20, 30 minutes. You gave everybody back their time. So say if there was a process that took 10 hours a week, but then you put something in place that cut that down by 4 hours, then that means you increase productivity by 60%. So that's one way I like to do that. Or if there's numbers as far as like promotion. So say, for example, you were HR director and you had a team of 8 professionals, and within 2 years, half of the team got promoted, and that's a good percentage too. So 50% of the team was promoted under your leadership. So those are some ways you can really put percentages on your resume. Like think about workflow processes or efficiencies that you did that allowed the team to work smarter and not harder. And just maybe calculate the hours or just calculate the people that got promoted and you should be good to go. Those are
Yeah.
just some.
Yeah. Those are some really good ways. I think the biggest thing for me is that we ignore numbers that are already available for us. So like when we are talking about these recruiting skills, and I keep talking about them because so many people touch recruitment before they start their career, and so many people, that's the area that it's just recruitment has become such a big thing that they want more people in the interview panel. They want to make sure that this person can do this. Can you just source sometimes? And this is not even a full-time job. But with that, you have the applicant tracking system where you can go in and see like how many requisitions I had. I mean, how many applications I had in this requisition, right? So you can automatically see like when did this person start, when did they end, and do the easy math on that, right? So that can give you amounts. When you keep track of the size of your organization, like Cassie said earlier, with us adding that up, that's a big impact, right? But if we know that as HR director, HR manager, HR VP, I've worked with 300 of our 1,000 employee staff, then I've impacted 30%, or I've been able to help with professional development and growth of 30% of our organization or whatever, if I'm doing the math right on that. Math is my sore spot. Another thing that I couldn't tell. Another thing that I do is, y'all, for my budget, like I still live on a budget. I feel like a budget is still free to me. I know how much money I can spend whenever I can spend it. And it forces me to still be good with money, right? And I literally use this budget calculator, like I Googled it, and it'll calculate things into percentages for me. It'll calculate and to revert option. It'll tell me like how much more of that I need. It's like 4 different little options in this calculator. So you guys can like literally Google it. And what I did was I just saved the link. And so when I get confused, like I still use that to this day. So I might use Owanda to do some compensation calculations between the Indian rupee and the US dollar, or the GBP in the UK and the US dollar, right? But then if I need to know like what percentage that is, when finance is like, well, how much of this salary you're using for this or that, I go right into a little calculator and punch it in. And I do it for like everything. I do it for my budgeting. I do it for work. I do it when, anytime I've needed to update my resume, I've used that link so long. So do not be afraid to like just Google. There's gonna be a lot of ads on the side, obviously, but the calculators are amazing. Huh?
So what's the name of that calculator?
Oh my goodness. I
Well,
gotta text it to you. Yeah, I gotta text it to you because Owanda is the money conversion, but I don't even remember the name of the calculator. But I think it's just like percentage calculator. Like I literally think that's the name of the website. But let's see. I met some people. Y'all are really chatting it up in here. I love it. Thank y'all so much for hitting the like button for me. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I appreciate it. Keep doing it. Um, You get so many compliments as I work with many vendors for our immersions with the students. Good. That's something you want to put down and write down. And then if you get so many of them and they're different, so I'll write and do like a category that says compliments or feedback and start putting down the type of compliments and feedback you've gotten. It'll help you be able to make that resume a little bit more detailed. I'll work on writing them down maybe. Chat GPT can't help, but child Sonya, you know what you did. Chat GPT ain't know what you did. Y'all be depending on Chat GPT.
Right.
But you got to know what to put in there, and they don't know what you did. So just start paying attention. If you're having a hard time, go back to your performance review and see what your manager complimented you on. That's another good thing to do. Sometimes, you got that work bestie sometimes that we'd be like, did you see what happened in that meeting? Or that person where we end these meetings and everything going haywire and we can just lock eyes and already know what's going on. And that person we side chatting while we on that meeting because this meeting should have totally been an email. Y'all need to ask that person, what are some things you think I do pretty good? Because I just don't know what I really do anymore. It all becomes a blur. Like people you trust now. You don't want no undercover haters. All right. So Sonya, I understand that percentage matters, but I don't want to lie, which is why I want to do it properly. Put a range, Sonya. Put a range so that you can avoid lying. You can always put a range. Cassie said it like 2 or 3 times where she was like 20 to 30%, 40 to 60%. Put a range if you're not sure, especially if you're capturing skills from a long time in your career. Be okay putting a range. That way we avoid lying, we keep an integrity, but we ain't really sure. And it gives us a talking point in the interview. And you don't keep track. That's the problem. We don't, but we need to. So you're gonna do it. I know you are. I got so much faith in you. Nice. I put assistance on place. Good idea. You're welcome. I don't have any percentage on my resume. It's okay. You can start adding them. And you can do a mix. You can do percentages, you can do numbers. That was something I was gonna ask Cassie about before because she did say that it's a big thing that HR professionals will forget to put metrics. And so Cassie, give us some ideas because they're a little worried about these percentages. What are some other things they can use in addition to these percentages on their resume?
Well, besides percentages, of course, numbers, like we talk about the employee population, making sure you add that on there would be really, really good. One thing you can add on there, it's not really a number, but it does show that you're a trusted partner. I like putting awards, even if it's like a departmental award, like the people amongst your department voted you the most nicest person, whatever it is,
Okay. Okay. We leveraging everything around here.
everything to make us look like the most irresistible choice on the planet with a position. Another thing you can add on there is I see a lot of people leave off projects. Now, when I used to work with Amazon, I was on like 3, 4 projects at the same time. So talking about how many projects you worked on at once is going to be a really big deal. So worked on 5 projects concurrently and add that on there, you'll be good to go.
And
Another,
we can give a range for that too, even when we're not talking about percentage. Maybe some days you find yourself in one week working on 5 projects consistently. Next week you find yourself working on 2 of them. The next week you're like, I'm doing 7. You can give a range of like 3 to 6 projects that I'm constantly working on simultaneously. Sorry, go ahead.
yes, definitely. Another number is time frames. I don't see a lot of time frames on there, especially if you started with the organization and you hit the ground running within the first 3 months, you was able to revamp a whole entire process within the first
Mm-hmm.
hire. Putting that time frame on there is going to be substantial. It's going to really show like, oh my gosh, when this person gets here, not only are they going to be a sponge, but they're going to implement some amazing ideas that's going to make an impact in the company. So I love
Mm-hmm.
putting a time frame, like of course, like I mentioned, for promotions as well, but any projects that probably looks like it would take a year to do, but you was able to complete it in a 9-month time frame, I would add that on there. So those are some things you can start to think about: project numbers, time frames, the percentages that we talked about, employee population numbers, and putting it in bold on the resume so it like screams at the recruiter. So it screams and yells at them.
Yeah, and when she say in bold, y'all, she doesn't mean that you guys are like gonna like one of the things that folks like to do. I'm not sure if Cassie's a big proponent of this, but in HR, it's not a favorite thing where you guys will put down like, okay, I worked at Google, right? Y'all will put like training development in bold and talk about all the things you did in training development. Then you talk about, benefits and then all the things you did in benefits. A lot of these things you can couple together. A lot of times you find yourself like repeating different tasks. What you want to do is show elevation over time. I always tell people that the best thing they can do as an HR professional to help you with this time is to help build your resume up. We kind of look for these resumes in the HR world to go according to the employee life cycle. So when you talk about this job, then you want to talk about what you did at the beginning of the employee life cycle, from attraction and recruitment and onboarding. Then your next bullet point, you probably want to maybe talk about onboarding and pick it up in that line, because maybe you want to lead into training. Because typically after we onboard somebody, we're training them, right? Or maybe you just want to talk about training and professional development. Then you want to talk about all those things that happen in the middle. They happen different times and always happen the same. And then the middle, we can always talk about, how we may have managed benefits, or how we may have managed employee laws, or how we may have managed training, or how we may have managed educating our leaders, or partnering time with our leaders. And then we get down to the end where we're going to talk about all the things that always happen at the end of the employee life cycle, which is termination, separations, resignations. And you probably want to start that bullet point right before it, where you talk about succession planning. And so if you keep yourself in track like that, sometimes it can help you build up those numbers. It can help you build up that impact, and it'll be so much more easier to read to the HR professional, because they truly understand the employee life cycle, because they're working in it every day, every day. And so I want y'all to just not put too much of a big deal into this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell you all the time, I have like a whole resume playlist. You can look at that. Cassie has amazing reels on IG. She also transfers some of them and do new ones on LinkedIn. But if you just sit down on her IG, you can be on there literally for days and hours and have the perfect resume by the time you're done, because she's always telling us about Fiance Billionaire. Is that it? Like, what are these names?
It's Fiance Trillions and Rihanna Billions. That's when Rihanna hit a billion. And I was like, let me just do a resume, Sienna Billions. And
like,
and
where does Cassie come with these names?
It's Tyler Perry Sense. That's for Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry.
Like, these folks are far too creative. Y'all, before I knew Cassie, like, met her, talked to her. When I say met her, we met virtually. But before I started talking to Cassie like this, like, y'all, my heart like dropped. I was like, I'm not this creative. I can't create reels this fast. I don't know how to come up with these unique names. Like, Cassie is so amazing. It's interesting. Like, even if you ain't in the HR, you can't help but laugh at some of the stuff she points out on these resumes, child. I'm like, you got it though. It hit a little bit when we know we're the ones that had that mistake, but it's always, always like refreshing and good. So if y'all follow her, My Professional Agenda on LinkedIn or IG, there's a wealth of information there. So I don't want you guys to get too worried about that. The second thing is this is a live. It's going to be recorded. The last thing that I want to make sure we talk about, because we was only planning on to be on here for a little short period of time. So I'm going to ask y'all to do me a favor. I'm going to ask the folks to do me a favor. If y'all really enjoy this and y'all like having Cassie on here, maybe y'all already sent her an email, maybe y'all were already following her, maybe you just enjoyed your time with her, please put a 1 in the chat. If you're like, Tamika, Cassie was cool, but I'm ready to see who's next, then put a 2 in the chat. Cassie has thick skin. She's going to survive either way.
I put a 2 in the chat.
We're going to do it. I'm working on something. I'm going somewhere. I'm not looking at the screen. Don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen, because when you look back, then your heart's going to be warm, because I know that everybody had a great time. They've been killing in this chat. We didn't even get through all the questions. You're good. They enjoyed it. Look at that. One's coming. There you go. Look at them. You're worried about nothing. Okay, see, so y'all had a good time. Y'all, I know that's right. Look at it. Now you get multiple ones. See, now you can look at the chat. It's safe, Cassie. It's safe. I know they enjoyed you. They're just chatting it up in the chat. How many, now this is something where I need y'all to help us out. Oh, let's see some of my mentees in there. Hello, hey girl, hey. I need y'all to do me a favor. Because oh man, some of my lifelong folks. I know y'all enjoyed her, so I'm happy about that. Thank you so much. I don't care if y'all put confetti in there, because now at this point, I just gave our mind a heart attack. We wanted her to still be happy. So the second thing is that I really am very eager to know where you guys are tuning in from. I know at the beginning we had a little bit of Houston, a little bit of Dallas, some Cincinnati, some San Diego or San Francisco. Tell us again. Thank you so much, Sonia. Tell people hit the like button. Cassie's from Seattle. I'm gonna go ahead and put in here. I'm an old beachy girl. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
I've
So
been
I want to join. Man, you got to come. You got to come. And y'all, let me just let y'all know. Um, Depending on how my full time life goes with my full time job, y'all might see me in Houston. As long as Cassie don't like bar me at the door because I haven't got my ticket, I might get it last minute. If I don't get it last minute, then I definitely have something we're gonna do tonight because we got on this thing. Thank you. Okay, Arizona, Atlanta, I love it. California, Rhode Island, New York.
New York.
Philadelphia. Oh my, yeah, yep. Cassie's originally from New York. Well, are you originally from New York? Is just your family's from Nigeria, or?
Yeah, my family was from Nigeria. Then they came to America and had me in Dallas. They had me in Dallas.
Oh, wow. It's been all over.
And they wasn't feeling Dallas like that. So when I was about 2 or 3, we moved to New York City. So I
The
most of my life,
majority of life has been in New York. Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Cincinnati, Darlington. That's not far from me. Oh, that's what's up. Oh, Louisiana. I'm so happy to hear that. Man, I like a good old Shreveport. People always ask me if I'm like New Orleans or Shreveport or like just anywhere in Louisiana. I'm like, no, this is Charleston Geechee. I'm happy to see this. I'm sorry for the folks that we missed. Okay, here we go. Now your job will afford you the opportunity to come to Houston. I know that's right. I know that's right. So we're in Houston. Y'all, what we're gonna do is that Cassie is going to tell you guys how she's gonna give away 2 free tickets to a Houston event, right? And what she's also going to do is she's actually gonna give away 3 because HR is gonna sponsor a spot just in case I don't get my ticket. So if I get my ticket, then I've given Cassie 2 tickets. So Cassie's just gonna invoice me that 3rd spot. She's gonna tell y'all how to win, and we're gonna make sure that 3 of y'all in this chat can go. We're gonna get this thing a cutoff time because we expect y'all to get on here. If y'all didn't know we were on here, then 1, you didn't subscribe. 2, you didn't hit your alerts. 3, you're not on me and Cassie's email list. Or 4, you don't follow us on LinkedIn. We've been screaming and shouting that we're gonna go live tonight. And so if you missed that, then you definitely want to find us in one or all of those places because now if you find us 2 days later, then you're too late. We need y'all to do this within 24 hours. So Cassie's closing this by 9 p.m. Eastern time. Well, probably her time. She's going to be a little gracious. We said 9 p.m. We didn't talk about the time zones on tomorrow. So y'all got tonight to get y'all behinds out there. Follow her directions. Get in the game so that you can win one of these 3 tickets. And I know we had a lot of Houston and Dallas when we first started. So I'm shocked to see that there's not a lot now. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, Tamika, it is Friday night. I'm out with the boo. I'm doing happy hours. Da da da. Awesome. So we gonna give y'all 24 hours to watch this goddamn recording. You got 24 hours. If it's not done by then you missed your spot because we only got 3 tickets. Aaron, all this time I didn't even know you were right in Savannah. But sorry. Cassie, tell us how we can win these tickets. We got 3 of them. How we gonna be able to win these tickets?
First of all, you're a whole entire hoot. I'm like screaming on the inside right now. I am. But first of all, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to do this here. But yeah, so I just love giving more. Like if I can give away 20, I would. But
Yeah.
we're gonna do 3 now. That was a shocker, that 3rd one. But yeah, so all you have to do is here's my email. I'm putting it in the chat. So if you want to be the lucky 2 to be a part of this event, now the value of this event is crazy. You're getting new headshots because I don't like seeing the dusty headshots on LinkedIn.
Child, okay.
I'm gonna get that together. Okay.
Past some days.
One-on-one coaching. It's on a first come, first serve for that one-on-one coaching, but we have 4 amazing coaches. And we also have a panel discussion of people who have made real impact in big companies like Amazon and big companies like AWS and amazing places and also
And
launched.
Indeed.
Indeed is going to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be a part of this, capture this email address that I just put in the chat and just email the word giveaway. Just email the word giveaway, and I'm going to give you some instructions. They're going to be light instructions, but once you get this completed in that 24-hour time frame, then the tickets are yours. It's yours to have. Now, if you're watching this recording later, because Tamika said you got 24 hours, but you might have watched this on the 75th hour, you can still me a message and I'll send you a code so you can get a certain percentage off. All right. So you're still going to win at some point. So again, email me at hr@myprofessionalagenda.com and just send me the word giveaway, and then I'll send you some instructions tonight.
Tonight. It's still early for her. Now, if she don't send y'all those instructions tonight, she definitely will tomorrow, because worst case scenario, the people who actually did it tonight is going to be far more than 3. So if you just by chance be like, oh man, I'm running a little late, it's okay, because you're going to get a percentage off. We making up rules as we go, and that's the amazing thing about running our own shop, because I'm so happy I didn't have to be like, can we give away a ticket? Child, I just came up with that because I love Cassie. I think that Cassie always brings amazing value. I have loved her from the day I talked to her. Y'all, let me tell y'all, when I first started Heyyy HR, I started on YouTube. I just wanted a bigger audience that I can just educate more about, tell them more about HR, how to start their career, how to grow their career, because nobody told me. It was hard. It was difficult. I struggled through that. And I felt like I had missed a lot of opportunities. I felt like there was a lot of opportunities for me to have grown. I felt like there were a lot of opportunities for me to have made more money, to be able to impact my family more. I felt like I overworked myself. I used to work a lot of hours, if that was weekends, if that was nights. I remember now even regretting sitting at my daughter's volleyball games and working on my laptop. I feel like I've really damaged our relationship by overworking myself. So I said, okay, you know what? In addition to me having the feeling that I had, I also saw so many people that were just experiencing so many disparities because they were a minority, not just because they were African American, because they were a minority. They didn't get paid as much. They had more experience. They didn't get the opportunities. And that really, really bugged me, right? And I was like, what can I do? I want to reach more people. And at first I was very nervous. My job's not going to like this. They only want me to do speaking engagements for them. They only want me to travel for them. And I said, cool. Here comes COVID. I'm disgusted. I know I want to quit this job. I'm looking for a new job. I'm looking that after I'm done with my foot surgery, I'm not going back to work. And I just said, forget it. I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And I started. And when I started, as I continued to grow and get close to 1,000 and finally got over 1,000, I was like, okay, I really want more people to know the impact of what Heyyy HR has to give. And I started reaching out to HR professionals, if that was IG, if that was YouTube, people who I felt were already comfortable before the camera, like, come join me live. Let's make sure that people know about this. Let's make sure they know about that. And I definitely wanted my community to grow, but I also wanted to just show people like, hey, I'm worth you subscribing and like tagging on. And there were some people that I reached out to back then. They may have had like 5,000 subscribers, and they're like 2 different people. One girl I remember specifically, and I ain't gonna say her name because y'all probably watch that girl channel, but I reached out to her and said, hey, do you mind like coming on my channel? Let's chat through through HR. I don't remember what list of topics I had made up at the moment. She said, can you give me your IG handle? Can you give me your LinkedIn? Your YouTube name? And I gave her both of those things. And she replied back to me, oh, no, I won't be able to help you. But I do see that you offer services. Because by this time I just started offering services. What are your prices? So you can't do me a favor, but you want me to do you one. Cool, right? I ran into a lot of roadblocks, but I was like, I'm not letting this stop. Cassie and a few others, but Cassie was one of the main people who had no problem helping me. She was one of the main people who had no problem telling me how to run this as a business behind the scenes. There's a lot that we do behind the screen, behind the scene, behind the camera, behind the content that y'all see that y'all have no idea that we do. Send out them emails ain't easy. Being a graphic designer isn't easy. If y'all follow Cassie, she just told y'all how she done elevated in her graphic design. I was like, yes, yeah, sis, I didn't even get there yet.
That first flyer? Did you see?
Listen, we didn't even know the growth, so we compare it, right? I was like, I couldn't believe you did this one. This one was amazing. I was like, damn, I thought she sent that out and contracted that out.
Girl, I spent like maybe 7 hours.
Girl, you did good. You did good. And then with all those speakers, but y'all, Cassie is just that amazing person, man. So I'm telling you, when you get into a room with her and people that she gathered with, because my grandmother used to always say birds of a feather flock together, like you're gonna get value. You're gonna get value. So definitely sign up for that. And if you like, you know what, Tamika, I'm right here in Houston, but I barely got gas money for tomorrow. We have 3 free tickets. So definitely send her giveaway to her email, HR@myprofessionalagenda.com. Let's get that going. We're not going to go through all these questions. It's Friday night. The number's going down. We're not going to hold y'all up anymore. And I want Cassie to get a break. She's been doing a lot of work. She's doing this all the way in Houston. She's in Seattle. And I've had one shitty day. So, so we're going to let you guys go. And I thank y'all so much. Like, honestly, I thank y'all so much for joining. I'm so happy that Cassie was willing to like partner with me on this. Not everybody feels comfortable on the camera, but I love that she came on here. We didn't even go over a fraction of what we planned, and I still feel like you guys got so much value in this couple of minutes. So if you feel like you didn't, then I'm surprised. I don't know how you're surviving through this because it was too many notes to be taken. So I'm happy y'all take advantage of those notes, and I'm happy that y'all see what we have to offer here. Again, do me a favor, hit the like button. Definitely follow Cassie. Join my email list, join her email list. And you send her an email, I know Cassie has it in her signature where you can join her email list. So definitely do that. You can find her on almost all platforms. Let us know how we can find you if they haven't connected with you already.
So the first way is on Instagram and TikTok at My Professional Agenda on those platforms. And then the second way is my favorite platform of all times, which is LinkedIn. So just put in Cassie Ademola, Ademola, and I should pop up. That's one of my favorite spots of all times. And yeah, you can email me at HR at My Professional Agenda. And trust me, I already see a few of these emails coming in, Tamika. They coming in, which is good.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you can find me on all those platforms. Send me a DM, send me a message. I'm always like by the phone, ready to answer anyone.
Yeah, that's how we live our life, child. Yeah. So she's gonna be ready to answer you guys. I'm so happy y'all already emailing her. Like for real, if I talk about anybody, then it's the business because I don't bring just anybody around in my space, my virtual space or my physical space. And y'all can also find her internet home at myprofessionalagenda.com. I often grab links from there and I have such a great time kind of peeking around and seeing what she's spruced up, what's new, what she's talking about in recent times because she keeps it very updated. And so I like that. Cassie.
Yes, girl.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate this.
It's fun. Oh, it just inspires me to do because you've been doing so good with YouTube. And so it makes me want to really like, and I've been saying this for mad long since I've known you, but it makes me want to tap. It feels so good.
Such a space. Yeah, it's such a space. I must admit that just like anybody else, I do get like bad comments and stuff like that. But um more so to see the amount of people that we're able to connect and have like minds. It's just such a space. I absolutely love my YouTube community. So you need to join us on over here because we kind of like this space. This is our little home. Yeah, I know. Okay. After this event, you gotta wind up. I get it. I get it. Alrighty, y'all. So me and Cassie, I'm gonna give her a formal goodbye, but to you guys, we're gonna both say good night. Thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait. I'm excited to see who wins. She's gonna share that information with me, and we're gonna blast it all over social media so folks can know we're gonna be in the room.
Yes.